Max says, not related, but thoughts on the A's leaving Oakland like the Raiders did. Ooh. This is actually a really good topic. This is a very good topic.
What a can of worms to open.
I believe this is Pia's brother. So Max. Hi, Max.
Dude. Yeah.
Mike, I'm going to let you start this one off.
Sure. If I had an A's hat right now, I'd put my A's hat on, but
if only somebody gave you an A's hat.
Dude, I could talk for hours about the A's. It's really interesting and it's really sad. I mean, first and foremost, the most obvious thing to say is that, okay, if this really does happen, which it seems like it is happening, that's 3 sports teams, major, like the top 3, like grossing sports in America. You have 3 sports teams from each respective one leave your city, Oakland. You have the Raiders leave, and then you have the Warriors go to San Francisco, which that one didn't hurt too bad because it was like, oh, they're still the Bays team. If the Sharks were in, the San Jose Sharks were in Oakland and they went to San Francisco, it'd be like, oh, well, it's still the Bay Area's team, whatever, right? But then now it's the A's, and it's like, okay, the way I always perceived it was once the Raiders left, it was like, well, then clearly the A's are going to stay, right? And I have my thoughts, and I will say them. When the Raiders were trying to stay in Oakland, Mark Davis and whoever, they were trying to come up with different proposals, for Oakland site plans. And there was one where they had an investor group led by Ronnie Lott. And there was another one, I want to say, that had some other big investor. And, they were proposed to either the city or the NFL or whoever. And it was like, knock down, knock down, knock down. I'm pretty sure it was proposed to the city. And the city was like, no, we can't do that because blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, well, this was all happening in like 2014. And then the Oakland A's, signed a 10-year lease to stay at the Oakland Coliseum site. Once they did that, and the Raiders were so pushing to get a new stadium on the site, they wanted it on the Coliseum site. Once the A's did that, it was like, okay, well, we can't build here. The Coliseum's staying. We're not demolishing this. So the A's kind of gave the Raiders a little push, like, go find somewhere else, buddy, and I don't know. It didn't sit right with me. You would think that, I don't know, maybe this is on the city, I don't know, but you would think that they would have maybe worked together to build a big sports complex. Like, they already had it. If you've been to an Oakland game and you rode BART, it's like the perfect system. Like, as far as getting to a game, it's pretty sweet. And now it's just not going to happen. It's not going to be a thing anymore. It's going to be a thing of the past. And I don't know. The A's did all of that, essentially helped push out the Raiders. And now their ownership decides, we're going to Vegas. It's like, dude.
Pulled an Eli Manning right there.
It pisses me off to no end. I had already lost my love for the MLB about 5 years ago, or whenever it was that they traded Cespedes, traded Josh Donaldson, and so forth, and just dismantled the team that had Josh Reddick. They had like Sonny Gray, just a whole bunch of great players. They had Balfour, the closer, dude. They had I always forget the guy's Scott Kazmir. I understood trading Cespedes for Lester because it was like, oh, we need an ace to win a playoff game. It's like, okay, but the A's, it's a cycle in Oakland. Maybe it'll change in Vegas, but I'm over it. It's a cycle of, okay, we suck. We're not going to spend money. We're just going to build up our farm system. We're going to get occasional good players, and right when their contract comes up, we're going to trade them, right? And we're going to keep building up the farm system through that. And then eventually the farm system gets so good, and it takes about a year or two, and then it's so good that those players start trickling into the A's MLB team, and they become so good. And then it's like a 2 to 3 year span where those so good players start taking them to the playoffs. But then what do they do in the playoffs? They lose in the first round every time. It's either against the Yankees or the Detroit Tigers. And then it's after 2 to 3 years, well, their contracts are up. Time to blow it up. And A's fans got fucking tired of it. And now they don't go to games, which since after Josh Donaldson, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting. I'm totally off. And I'm forgetting his name because that's how much I don't care.
Are you talking about the most recent players that they traded?
Matt Olson, Matt Chapman.
Matt Chapman.
That was the end for me. I was into it. I was like, they're great. They're going to do it. And then they go and play the Yankees like 2 years in a row and they're done. It's like, and then they trade them, right? That's when I was done. I don't know. The A's organization can go fuck themselves. That's how I feel. Yeah.
Well, really the owner.
Yeah, the owner. I mean, I don't know if you saw it. You probably did. They just had the All-Star game yesterday, and it's like, I mean, the A's fans, like I said, the organization can fuck themselves. The A's fans are awesome. Okay.
A's fans are awesome.
And they don't deserve it. I'm saying they, like, I'm not an A's fan. I am, but I'm not right now. You know, it's like I'm just out. They completely took me out of it.
You're an upset A's fan, and I 100% understand. I just want to quickly, I do want to talk about this as well because I really care about this. I am coming from a background where I am a Giants fan. I 100% consider myself a Giants fan. But I would be lying to you if I told you the A's did not have a special spot also in my heart. They are the other team, you know, they're the team across the bay. They're the rivals. They have been a team that I grew up going to games for, and you know, because I just loved baseball as well. And I'm getting a little choked up, like kind of thinking about, you know, the fact that the A's are leaving. To me, that is the most devastating one of the three moving, because you know the Raiders, it didn't seem like, you know, there was going to be a deal made, you know, for a new stadium in Oakland. Like, you know, they just kind of jumped ship and went to Vegas. And also, I never went to any Raider games growing up, so I didn't really have that attachment, you know, to the team at all. But, you know, one of the reasons why I feel so bad for for A's fans is that, you know, you are loyal to this team. You know, they mean a lot to the Bay Area. They mean a lot to Oakland. I mean, you know, they do stuff like around the community. I want to say that just the little league that I played for down the street, that Mike and I played for, I want to say that the A's paid for that to be, renovated and they redid the fields, and
they brought their own sand from the stadium.
Yeah. And they sent Adam Rosales to like meet with players. The A's are involved in the community. Like, there's no question about that. You know, and even though they're not my favorite team, you know, it's still a great time to, you know, go with the family to an A's game. The tickets are so cheap. It's so easy to get there from BART. And, just because there is some greedy asshole who's been withholding talent from the team and not paying the fucking players just because he wants to fucking maximize his profits. Like, you know, if you ever watch the movie Moneyball, they talk about maximizing the efficiency of the players and getting these players on deals and everything. You're maximizing your pockets. That's what you're doing. There's no salary cap in baseball to tell you how much you're supposed to spend on a team, but you're over here, you know, I'm just going to, you know, spend as least as possible and try to get the most out of these numbers. Baseball is more than just a numbers game. And that's why I also, even though, you know, the Giants are doing good right now, well, they were doing good last month. But the Giants are doing good right now. Baseball has just kind of been, headed towards this trend of it's a numbers game. And one of the things that I really love about sports is the human aspect of it. And the fact that, there's people behind these players. They're not just numbers. If you want to run a computer simulation all day, go ahead and go do that. Go play MLB The Show. Baseball, I love managers like Dusty Baker, Bruce Bochy. They're like, kind of old school kind of guys who, just kind of understand when a guy's dealing, you leave him out there. It doesn't matter. That those are your best players. I'm going off on my little tangent right here, but keeping it focused towards the A's. They've been doing this for decades. The glory days are long gone for the A's, unfortunately. But one thing that you can't say is that they don't have a passionate fan base, because when the A's just a couple years ago were in the playoffs with players like Matt Chapman and Matt Olson and Chris Davis, I swear the Coliseum had people in those seats. If you take away players like that, and then it just happens over and over, you can only fool a fan base so much, over 20 years. And, it's just really unfortunate that the fans have been deprived of yeah. No, I read it. The Oakland Zoo is moving to Vegas 2026.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be as sad about that. But, I think it's good to have two baseball teams inside the Bay Area. Baseball, baseball is just such a great American tradition. And, the A's have such a great history. And, most of that history is here in Oakland. And you're just going to pack it up. Yeah, I mean, similar to when the Raiders moved. But like I said, I'm talking about the A's right now. This is like my emotional attachment. I grew up liking players like Eric Chavez. You can't just you can't be an asshole. Well, I guess you can and you will. So what is it, John Fisher? John Fisher, fuck you, dude. Sell the team. You're not interested in baseball. I don't think you ever were really interested in baseball. And
he's interested in the profit of baseball. That's what he's interested in.
Yeah, it's just an investment in him. Just go, find something else to invest in. Come on. There's people who have an emotional attachment to this team. And also, while I'm at it, Rob Manfred, you are an excuse of a commissioner. You are the worst commissioner in professional sports, because you are undermining A's fans and throwing jabs at those fans at every opportunity you get. They just want their team to stay, and you keep saying, "Oh, well," when they had the reverse boycott, it's something about them having an average attendance, for one night or something. Like, dude, if they would have invest in the team, people would show up. The Oakland Coliseum, honestly, as a Giants fan, I get to witness the best stadium, I think, in arguably all of sports. As a Giants fan, the Oakland Coliseum is really not that bad. It's old, but really, I think the Coliseum has its own charm. Just because it's not state of the art doesn't mean that it's not a good venue to watch a baseball game.
Yeah. Well,
so
you just said something that sparked my anger.
Go for it.
But I'm forgetting it. That's the problem.
Not that angry.
Yeah.
You won't like me when I'm angry.
No, because you went onto the Oakland Coliseum.
John,
what did you? Huh?
John Fisher can take it like Kirk Cousins on Monday night, huh? Or yeah.
Well, I'm trying. The reason why I posted that picture of like the Oakland Zoo moving to Vegas in 2026, there was a stat that I saw on Twitter, and I'm not finding it in my retweets or likes, but it essentially said it was like a list of different MLB teams and how they rank in like most highest grossing teams, like franchises, and like maybe the most profits earned from jersey sales and shit like that. Well, in the top 5 for grossing teams, like profit as a organization, like number 4 or 5 was the Oakland A's, who don't get anybody to sit in their seats. And this is from last season. It's because they don't spend any money. That's what John Fisher does. It's really fucking annoying. And like
Because
like
you're
you
gonna
said
have
about
the
the commissioner,
diehards. You're gonna have the diehards who are just gonna go there and support no matter what, and they're gonna buy the jerseys of all the new players. But you're always gonna have new players every single fucking year because you don't want to invest and pay these players to actually go out and win a World Series. You're not in the market for winning the championship. You're in the market for making money.
here's what I was gonna say that I was so angry about. So the commissioner came out and said, whatever he said about like, oh well, this is just one time that the A's fans show up, essentially, right? Total dickhead move. Why do you think the A's fans don't show up? Oh, you're saying it's because the Coliseum's like a piece of dog shit? No, it's because they're so used to the team in this cycle. Okay, they show up when the team wins. Okay, so when Matt Olson, Matt Chapman, they're winning, cool. The last time that the fans really, really like were selling out the stadium was when you had, like I mentioned, Josh Donaldson, Cespedes, all that. Like they were like the number 1 team in baseball for a good little stint. And I'm talking like for 1 year, regular season, obviously not the postseason, but so the thing that pisses me off is, they trade Matt Olson, they trade Matt Chapman, and then the fans stop showing up. And then they raise the prices for the tickets.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fans really don't show up. So why the fuck do you think the fans don't show up? Do you think it's because, oh, the stadium stinks, they clearly need to get out of there?
Yeah,
Or is it because the team fucking sucks, they always do this, and they're raising the prices while they do this?
it's not even
Fuck
just
you.
that. It's not even just that the team sucks, right? Because it's not that. The Raiders. All right, the Raiders were just in the Oakland Coliseum just a couple years ago. The Raiders always sold out, right, Mike? You were there. The Raiders would always sell out, and the Raiders
Yeah.
sucked, for the past 20 years.
Yeah. The last time the Raiders didn't sell
the
out.
people in the area are loyal to their teams.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be loyal if you just constantly move their favorite fucking players. Constantly.
Yeah. The last time the Raiders didn't sell out was when or I should say maybe the last time the Raiders would get blacked out, I think it goes hand in hand, was back when they had Jamarcus Russell. That stopped in like 2010. Like from 2010 on, they were selling out the stadium, even when they had like 4 win seasons. But, coming off of since 2003, never getting above like 500 in the NFL, it's like, yeah, at some point the fans are going to get tired of it when it's clear that nothing's happening. It's just Kerry Collins and then this guy and then that guy and then this guy and then Jamarcus Russell. It's like, but the difference between football and baseball, and this is the thing that really pisses me off about baseball as a whole, but specifically John Fisher and the A's, is the lack of a salary cap. So the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Giants and whoever else, the St. Louis Cardinals, can spend because their owners want to.
Yankees, Dodgers, and Red Sox are kind of in this tier. They're in the upper echelon. We're just going to dish out money. Yeah, I mean, maybe the Red Sox are just a little bit below. I mean, Yankees and Dodgers, they will
100%, those two.
They know, they will try to buy championships.
Yeah, every year. And it feels unfair. So
I would put the Giants and yeah.
Whatever
I don't
else.
think they're in quite where you grouped because
they're not there.
Big name free agents, but I would love Ohtani. I would love Ohtani.
Yeah, but it's like John Fisher has money, but he's not investing in the team. If you just invested in the team, when you have this great farm system that you built up and you have Matt Chapman, Matt Olson, blah, 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 it's like if you just bought a couple players to surround them, you buy a pitching rotation, maybe you'll go in there and you might get to the World Series, but they never tried it. Not once. It was always Moneyball.
You know how crazy it would have been if the A's would have won a World Series in like modern times? That would have been crazy. And I bet you they would have had a stadium built in Oakland. But John Fisher didn't want to invest in the team, and you're just playing this, oh, I'm going to go cheap on the team. You think the city is going to want to build a stadium for a cheap-ass team, for a cheap-ass owner who doesn't even want to, invest in its players? You know what I mean? So, and another thing I want to say is I wanted to ask you this question, Mike. So the Raiders are obviously in Vegas now after moving from Oakland. Do you think that most of the fans there who show up to the games, do you think they are from Las Vegas, or do you think they fly in from over here and from other parts, or drive?
I can tell you that the Golden Knights, most of their fans are from Vegas. I can't say for the Raiders because I think the NFL is kind of a different beast, I think it's clear that it's a lot of Raider fans. The thing that I think the Raiders have going for them is that they have fans from now 3 different cities. Oakland, or I should say the Bay Area, the greater Los Angeles area, and now Vegas. And I think a lot of fans that go to the games are probably from Vegas, but I can't say that most of them are from Vegas. I think with the Raiders, it's like you're going to have a lot from the Bay Area, a lot from LA. Raider fans are kind of all over, so they can be coming from anywhere. But also, my issue dating back to when they first announced they were going to go to Vegas, my main issue with Vegas, I think Vegas is great for the Raiders. I think as far as for Mark Davis, it's really great, but it's a great market, no state income tax for free agents. It's awesome, but when the Chiefs come to town, there's a lot of red in that stadium. I'm sure when the Niners came to town last December, there was a lot of red in that stadium. That's my issue. Oakland, It was the black hole that, I remember going to like the Cowboys game. That was the biggest one I ever saw, where it was like, well, there's a lot of Cowboy fans in here. It was like impressive. But you mostly saw them on the Cowboys sideline in that general area. But in Las Vegas, it's like they pan out and they show you like a quick little shot of the fans. It's like, oh, fuck. God damn it.
And it's different. A consequence of moving your team away from the fan base. And honestly, if you have all these people who grew up A's fans in the Bay Area, well, it's also a consequence of the team not being very good, and the teams that are, really good, having their fans be able to travel.
I think the problem with the Raiders in Vegas is Vegas. Vegas is the ultimate destination in the country. You want a weekend getaway, and you want to list three places that you could go to. I guarantee you, if you are an adult above 21 years old, Vegas is one of the options if you're thinking of flying somewhere. Guarantee you.
Yeah, I would say there's Hawaii, there's Vegas, and take your pick between going to New York or going to
a weekend getaway. Yeah, a weekend getaway. I don't think you're going to Hawaii for just a weekend. That's a week.
Okay.
If you want to fly somewhere quickly, go in on Friday, come back Sunday night or Monday morning, Vegas is a top 3 destination. That's why, and if I were a Baltimore Ravens fan, if I were a Steelers fan, if I were this or that, and I see that the Raiders are playing my team in Vegas, that's the first game I'm looking for tickets. I'm going to be very upset when I see that the average ticket price is $600, but at least I'm going to look, So I think the problem, it's not even that they're not winning. There was a lot of excitement for the Raiders this year because they were coming off a playoff season and they got Devontae Adams. They get Chandler Jones. The problem for the Raiders is just where they are. Everybody's going to want to go there. That's why the tickets are so expensive. It's where they are.
Mhm. Another thing I want to say real quick before we move on from this topic, the renderings for the Howard Terminal project for the Oakland A's, they looked beautiful. That was going to be a beautiful ballpark,
Yeah.
and if John Fisher would have just like invested in his team and proved that people are going to, so that way people could have the opportunity to prove that they would be loyal to the soil, which they are, and go to games, and it could justify there being public funding for a stadium, a waterfront ballpark right there in Howard Terminal. We would have gotten that, and I think that I've seen the rendering for the stadium in Vegas. It looks terrible. I don't like it. I honestly think I think the Coliseum as it currently sits looks more beautiful than the renderings for the one in Vegas.
I'd have to look at it again. I'm so like out of it. I didn't even pay attention to what it looked like. Like I saw it
Look,
quickly and I wasn't like overly impressed by it. But yeah, the Howard Terminal proposal that they showed with the photo, like yeah, it looked great. Yeah, that's about it for that. Max, great question. Uh, you
Hold on, we're
fired
not
me
done.
up.
I want to show that the this is
Okay.
what the rendering the rendering looks like from the outside. I like this like logo, that's kind of cool. But
That reminds me of the Angels.
what the hell is the shape of this thing? And what is this big old ring around it? Like, I don't know.
It
And then
looks
the
like
inside looks plain. It just looks kind of plain.
eh, it's all right. The backdrop's awesome. I'll give it that.
Are you even really going to be able to see that?
If you're
Maybe,
sitting in the third deck for sure.
because this is one, two. I mean, this is a third deck up here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's kind
Yeah.
of like how you can't see the Oakland Hills because of Mount Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Right.
but to me, this looked far superior.
Yeah. No, that's super cool. I will say though that the lack of outfield seating makes it look like a AAA stadium. You know,
Yes,
I don't know.
a minor
Like
league
it's weird.
stadium. Yeah.
Yeah.